Now it's time to see who has the heart.
If you put your effort and concentration into playing to your potential, to be the best that you can be, I don't care what the scoreboard says at the end of the game, in my book, we're going to be winners.
This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
Let me see your war face. Ah! You didn't convince me. Let me see your real war face. Ah! You don't scare me. Work on it.
Welcome to the Best of Tailgate Talk, where we go back into the archives and hear some of our special guests you may have missed the first time around. We'll be back with the Best of Tailgate Talk after this. Come see all your friends at Applebee's in Athens. 12 minutes guaranteed or it's free Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. 7 items to choose from. Can't make it for lunch? Visit them for happy hour, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. or late night. Half-price appetizers with beverage purchase, 6 appetizers to choose from. Call 233-4430 or order online at Applebee's.com and pick your meal up with Carside to go. Applebee's Neighborhood Grill, Highway 72 in Athens, just off I-65. Eating good in the neighborhood. When things go wrong, State Farm is here to help life go right. And Agent Michael Howell is the one who can help get things back on track. See Michael for your auto, home, life, health, property, and business insurance, and be ready for those unexpected twists that life throws at you. Ask about banking and annuities, too. Call State Farm Agent Michael Howell at 232-5400. Visit him online at michaelhowell.net or go see him at 903 South Clinton Street in Athens. State Farm Agent Michael Howell. There when things go wrong, here to help life go right.
From day one, First National Bank has been built on a strong foundation of community first. First to lend a helping hand, first to help with community events and fundraisers, first to support local students, athletic programs, and civic organizations, first to support events like United Way, Relay for Life, and many more charitable events, and most importantly, working for our great community. Without you, there'd be no First National Bank. Making communities great together, that's what we strive for.
Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Daly & Son Car Care is Ardmore's only one-stop auto repair and tire shop. Whether it's major mechanic or brake work or routine maintenance like an oil change or lube job, Daly & Son Car Care has been satisfying customers all over with their fast and friendly service. They're also your headquarters for quality Cooper tires. Stop by and see Wayne, Nikki, or Dale at 25600 Main Street in Ardmore, Tennessee, or call them at 931-427-4651. They're on Facebook, too. Daly & Son Car Care, open Monday through Friday, 7:30 till 5, and Saturday, 7:30 till noon. Another week for the Best of Tailgate Talk, and we've got some more fun and informative segments to revisit. The first hour is all football, as we feature former Alabama players John Copeland and Antonio Langham. Then go to the Plains for former Auburn and NFL defensive end Willie Whitehead. After that, we go back about 7 years for a conversation with former Chicago Bears guard Bob Newton. The second hour starts with former Bellhaven baseball coach and member of the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame, Hill Denson, and we wrap it up with the late Mark Eaton, former NBA center with the Utah Jazz. Reminder, we'll be live at Mud Volleyball for a Cure next Saturday. You also need to get those Athlete of the Week nominations in to us at tailgatetalk.net. We'll start the online voting back up in August for Applebee's gift cards and Tailgate Talk t-shirts. The Best of Tailgate Talk is back after this.
Your roof is the first line of defense for your home. Do you have water stains on your ceiling, paint peeling off your walls, shingles missing? It's probably time for you to get your free roof inspection. Locally owned and operated, licensed, and insured, Yellowhammer Roofing is the Yellowhammer State hometown team. Yellowhammer Roofing. Let our family protect what's most important to you, your family. 256-232-1933 or online at yellowhammerroofing.com.
P4 Therapy is an outpatient provider offering community-based care with a unique partnership model that allows them to consistently deliver world-class outpatient care, emphasizing personalized hands-on treatment. Whether it's orthopedic, physical, geriatric, or manual therapy, sports or neuro rehab, telehealth, or most any type of muscle or joint pain, P4 Physical Therapy promises to treat you with integrity, compassion, faithfulness, and selflessness. Locations in northern Alabama and southern Tennessee. Look for them on Facebook or online at p4physicaltherapy.com. Daly & Son Car Care is Ardmore's only one-stop auto repair and tire shop. Whether it's major mechanic or brake work or routine maintenance like an oil change or lube job, Daly & Son Car Care has been satisfying customers all over with their fast and friendly service. They're also your headquarters for quality Cooper tires. Stop by and see Wayne, Nikki, or Dale at 25600 Main Street in Ardmore, Tennessee, or call them at 931-427-4651. They're on Facebook, too. Daly & Son Car Care, open Monday through Friday, 7:30 till 5, and Saturday, 7:30 till noon.
Home security is not what it used to be. With Secure Connect and smart home integration features, you can unlock your doors and turn off your alarm from your smart home app. No more hiding a key under a rock. Get Secure Connect and live life connected. Call Ardmore Telephone Company at 800-830-9946 to secure your home today.
While others have come and gone, the Lions Den Gym has been roaring as a workout and exercise fixture in Athens, growing from its humble basement beginnings in 1981 to their current 10,000 square foot location at 212 Commercial Drive in Athens. The Lions Den offers 24/7 access to their ever-expanding equipment collection that includes treadmills and climbers, elliptical trainers, stationary bikes, loose weights and dumbbells, and over 45 different weight machines. Contact the Lions Den Gym about a membership today at 256-652-2627. Visit them online at lionsdengym.com or on Facebook, the Lions Den Gym, 256-652-2627. Now that you've got that new place on the water, BP Riverworks can finish the picture with a boathouse, dock, or seawall. Call Barron Pugh at 251-200-2273 or Tracer Pugh at 256-206-7097. BP Riverworks. Licensed and insured, 251-200-2273 or 256-206-7097. Welcome back to the best of Tailgate Talk on 1080 WKAC.
On the special guest segment, sponsored by Yellowhammer Roofing, we have some, I can't call these guys old, but they're older Alabama players that won a national championship down at T-Town and went on to stellar playing careers in the NFL. Antonio Langham, straight out of Town Creek, and John Copeland. And John, I apologize, I don't know where you're from, buddy, but Antonio's a local hero. So you guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much. I can tell you where you're from. You're from Bell, Alabama, baby.
There you go.
I guess talk to me about some of the memories that you all have from 30 years ago, being part of such a great championship teams. Obviously, Antonio, I know you're one of your most famous plays is that interception against Florida. But talk to me, I guess, about some other things y'all remember from those times.
Well, everybody.
Go ahead, Langham.
Well, first of all, everybody remembers the interception against Florida because of the impact it had on college football, on the SEC and college football.
Right.
But before you lower your Auburn fans, now you remember it was a play bigger than the SEC championship game. Now and late in the third quarter in '92.
Yeah, absolutely. Stan White was driving. That was really that drive there in the third quarter was really something that gave me hope for the following year, because that was, if I'm not mistaken, that was Coach Dye's last game, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was.
He had announced right before that, and Stan White's a freshman and he's driving down. I'm like, okay, look what we got coming up here. Next thing you know, here come Antonio. Had to go pick the ball off.
I saw Coach Dye a couple of years later. Excuse me, we were talking about that game. He looked at me. We standing there, and his hands on my shoulder. He said, "Antonio, if you don't intercept that ball, we getting ready to go down there and kick you out, but you know that."
Sounds like something Coach Dye would say.
Well, when I think back about it, the thing that stand out most to me is not necessarily plays or games. The thing that stand out to me the most is the locker room, the camaraderie, the working out in the summer, just being around the guys and just having a feeling that something special was about to happen that year.
Right.
Now, Antonio, don't people think that you were George Teague instead of George Teague doing that to Lamar Thomas?
Yeah, I help George out a lot. I help him out a lot But when we've had numerous conversations, so I have to backtrack on that statement. So when people come and tell me that was the greatest play they ever seen, he made me promise that I would tell everybody that was his play and not mine. So, I hate to break people's hearts nowadays. But when they go to talking about it, I'll be like, man, I made a promise to George that I had to tell the truth on whose play that was, man. But back to what Cope was saying, man, that our locker room in '92, man, was special. And just to think that the year before we were blown out in the swamp by Florida, man, that was the only game we lost. We don't lose that game. We're probably playing for the national championship in '91. And possibly winning in '92 also, man. And we learned a valuable lesson from that game, and then rolling into that following year with seeing leadership like Copeland, EC, and Olden, Derek Olden, George, and all those guys, man. They left a mean blueprint for us. After my junior year, going out of senior year. We just had a few hiccups along the way that we couldn't finish the deal. But, that senior leadership group we had, man, it was special. And I say that because we go to New Orleans and Coach Stallings is like, you guys have earned it. I'm going to give you like 12. I think it was either 12 or 12:30 curfew. And our seniors, man, they were like, no, we coming in at 11:30. We here for business. We not here for pleasure. Once this is all over, we'll celebrate. So, hey, man, when you guys see leadership and they step up like that, man, it was like we headed in the right direction. We destined for something. Right?
Yeah. I was going to ask you guys, you were on the field, but like you said, Antonio, you did not make the play, but George did, and nobody saw. This guy, Lamar Thomas, he's hauling it down the sidelines, man. I'm thinking, this guy's fixing to score. Next thing you know, out of nowhere, here comes Teague and strips him. What was y'all's reaction on the field? You saw it. You saw the play develop there. What was y'all thinking about that?
It was two reactions for me. One is, man, he does not want to hear what Coach Stallings had to say when he go to that sideline. Because he is going to ask 1,000,001 questions to what happened on that play. If I come off the field before George, he's going to ask me first, 8:43, what happened over there? And then after that, I was going to have to go to the headsets and listen to Coach Oliver, which I still end up having to listen to Coach Bill Oliver. He was like, he gets me on the headset. Now, George is sitting there cramping up, and he wants me on the headset, and he goes to holler, hey, you tell George Teague, I said, if he ever lets that happen again, he'll never play another down for me. And I said, well, Coach, this is it. He's a senior. So it don't matter.
Oh, man.
He's done anyway.
It's real.
And the thing about it, that play, it happened, but it didn't count because Alabama's offside.
Yeah.
Actually, it did count because if he don't do that, then they get the yardage gain or the touchdown. So actually.
And the crazy part about that was Antonio London was offside, and London been offside all year long. Now he didn't. He was the only man on the line of scrimmage that didn't watch the ball.
Hey, all year it was going to be London, EC. They're going to jump offside 4 or 5 times a game.
4 or 5 times a game. I'm sitting there, man. I'm like, Stick, you right over the. We call it Big Daddy Stick. We like, Stick, you right over the ball. You can't see the ball. You right there on the line of scrimmage, you can't see the ball, man.
And that's what always aggravates me. I'm like, you're right there and you can see it.
You're right. Hey, we were and the funny part, we on the sideline, we over there celebrating. Coach Stallings, as calm as he can be, he said, hey, man, y'all got to go back on the field. 55 is offside.
Oh, man.
It wasn't no celebration. He was just so calm. He said, hey, man, you guys got to go back on the field. 55 is offside. And then he said, that's just a regular occurrence here.
Oh, that's funny.
So for that national championship game, what my understanding of it is that no one was giving y'all much of a shot in that game, that y'all were huge underdogs. I don't know if Vegas did lines at the time, but it is my understanding that y'all weren't really given a shot by a lot of people. Talk to me, I guess, about what you remember about that.
the problem with my issue with the whole deal was we were ranked number 1 in every defensive category was that year. I mean, we were winning games 7-3, 10-6. I mean, well, you gave us a 3-point lead, and that was a ball game. We was gonna win it defensively. I know it sounds cocky, but I'm like, you gave us a 3-point lead. The only time we had a lead and we just gave the lead away was for Florida in the SEC championship. But other than that, you gave us 3 points, and we was gonna win a football game for you because that was just our defense. That's how we were cut. We were like, it didn't make no difference how many plays we needed to play that year. And you sent us in as the underdog, and we ranked number 1 in every category. You gonna have to prove it to us that you can beat us because you can't. I always been told if they can't score, they can't win.
That's the truth.
You're correct, man.
And to me, Antonio, the biggest game of that season was the game in Starkville when the block punch you had. First
and guys, that's the thing. No matter what the situation was, if the defense needed to score, either Langham or T was going to figure out a way to get the ball in great field position for the offense, or they were going to score the touchdown themselves.
Right.
And man, it's funny. Y'all bring up the Mississippi State game, man, and it was like we were down late in that game, man. And we were in the TV timeout. I'll never forget it. Now this one on the phone with me, you ain't gonna never catch him just bragging about nothing or boasting about himself, man. But we in a TV timeout and we on the defense on the field, and that's the first time you ever really seen our defense like we was like deer in the headlights, and we're standing there, man, and we just stand in the huddle. It's quiet, and all of a sudden. He's not very talkative, Copeland. Now, he's not. Now, I'll be honest with you, in game situations, at practice, but he goes off in the huddle. I'm talking about he goes off in the huddle during the TV break. And, like, we shocked because we've never seen this out of Cope for real. He goes off in the huddle. And he looked at us and he said, look, if y'all don't want to win the game, get out the way. I'll win it by myself. from that point on. And then he looked at EC Eric Kerr. He said, you better meet me at the quarterback. And that was it. That was it. When you get 94 and 80 rolling at the same time, our life was. When I won the Thorpe Award, I got up to the committee. I told myself, I wish I could have Copeland and Curry with me because you get 2 bookends like that, my job easy.
Yeah, sure was.
Hey, Langham, I never got my share of your signing bonus either.
I know. I owe you. I swear I owe you.
I was going to say when John said, we knew that Langham or Teague's going to take care of it, I'm thinking, dude, I remember them bookends over there. There wasn't much happening when you guys took over the football game.
Oh, man.
But here's the thing, though. Like, me and Eric, we will force the quarterback into making some kind of mistake. Either we would sack him or make him throw the ball early. Mm-hmm. But when that happened, we had guys back there that was going to take advantage of it. And that's special. You don't have that on every team.
We'll be back with more of our Tailgate Talk conversation after this.
Limestone Drug, located on the square in downtown Athens, is your local Health Mart pharmacy. As your local Health Mart pharmacy, Limestone Drug is locally owned and has a personal commitment to the community. Limestone Drug honors prescription drug plans, including Medicare. They accept flex spending cards and fill prescriptions in minutes, not hours. Limestone Drug knows there's nothing more important than your family's well-being. So shop Limestone Drug at 200 West Market Street in Athens, your local Health Mart pharmacy. Limestone Drug, caring for you and about you.
Your roof is the first line of defense for your home. Do you have water stains on your ceiling, paint peeling off your walls, shingles missing? It's probably time for you to get your free roof inspection. Locally owned and operated, licensed, and insured, Yellowhammer Roofing is the Yellowhammer State hometown team. Yellowhammer Roofing. Let our family protect what's most important to you, your family. 256-232-1933 or online at yellowhammerroofing.com.
For screen printing, sign printing, banners, logo design, and more, look no further than That Shirt Printing Place. Located at 709 North Jefferson Street in Athens. Call 256-444-1827. That Shirt Printing Place. Visit them online at thatshirtprintingplacellc.com. Look for them on Facebook too. That Shirt Printing Place. 256-444-1927. That Shirt Printing Place.
We're back now with more of our conversation on the best of Tailgate Talk.
Now, we talked about the safety, defensive back, and we got the 2 bookends. Who was your linebackers those years? I may just ask Jay. He might know better, but who was your linebackers that made a difference? that year?
Man, we had 4 linebackers that made. We had Lemansky Hall.
Lemansky, okay.
We had Lemansky Hall, Antonio London. Because we ran a 3-4 defense. Mm-hmm. So we had Lemansky Hall, we had London, we had Derek Oden, and Mike Rogers. Man, I hate that dude was in that accident right before the national championship game. When I tell you, a linebacker, Mike Rogers could do it all. He could cover, he could run fit, he could. Anything you ask a linebacker to do, Mike Rogers could do it, baby. I'm telling you.
If Mike Rogers don't have that accident, he is a first-round draft pick.
Yeah. All day long.
Yes.
Oh, he was special.
I just think that the camaraderie is missing. Mm-hmm. The camaraderie is missing. See, we lived in a dorm, so we were around each other 24/7. So it was like, I got to know Copeland, I got to know Curry, I got to know Lemansky, I got to know David Palmer, I got to know Lasky. So I knew, and they knew when we went to practice how much I could push them that day. I knew when Copeland didn't want to be bothered, Curry didn't want to be bothered, know when I could joke with them, laugh with them, when they leave them alone, let them be in their own little space. I don't see that. So when you're watching games, and when games get tight with these young men now, it's like they don't know how to reach down in there and call on their brothers that's lined up beside them. It's like they don't know how much they can push them, because it just don't seem like they're around each other enough, man. And when you don't have that camaraderie, when you don't know how much you can push your guy, it makes a difference when you get in those tight football games. Like, I knew on Saturdays, if we wasn't doing that in the secondary, I knew when Copeland Curry and they was coming, like, come on, Langham, y'all got to pick it up back there, man. They catch too many passes. And I knew what it meant, and there wasn't no issue because we knew how to push each other. I just think this missing, and then, man, this NIL stuff, man, and this transfer portal. Y'all don't want me to get started on that. We'll be on here another 2 hours.
Well, you know what? I was curious as to what y'all thought about that situation.
Well, my take on the last couple of years, honestly, I think the Scott Cochran factor is missing. You know, we don't seem to be finishing ball games. You know, you think about the era of Scott Cochran, we always got stronger as the game went. I haven't seen that from the team the last couple of years. You know, you put these kids on these computers and you make them do these lifts with the computer gauges, but they can't gauge heart. They can't gauge determination, you know, the human factor.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing I see the most is that we don't have a guy like Scott Cochran in the weight room.
You need to, because like Coach said, this new world of computer science, all this science age and all this, where if a guy, like if Copeland dealing with shoulder injuries, his workout going to be based solely on getting his shoulder strong. If I'm having a hamstring problem, that's me. That's what happened to the old school weight room, where it was a workout on the board and everybody did the same thing. And that's what I agree with Copeland. We done went to so much new era stuff, man, that person in that weight room to stand over you and yell over you and make you get that one more rep on 225. It's not, it's missing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. And it seems like y'all had, back when y'all played and won that title, y'all had a certain mentality, not only on the field, but also in the weight room.
Oh, it was go all day. Every time we touched the field at the work room, it was go time. But there was never no days off. None, period. It was go time.
Well, I was totally opposite. I was like prime time. I wasn't trying to lift no weights. I was like, you know, you give me one side of the world to cover it up good. But then I never forget Coach Jones, Terry Jones. I come in the weight room and I'm like, I come from Town Creek. We didn't have a weight room. We were just gonna use speed and beat you all day long. And at Hazelwood, if you couldn't catch up with this speed, you was in trouble. So we go, and I'm in the weight room and I'm just BSing in the weight room, and then TJ. Coach Jones, he coming to me one day. I'm going to tell you what, you going to start getting to the weight room, you ain't going to last long in the NFL. Them boys going to be strong in there right there. And I thought about it at that point. My mentality changed. Oh, you better get in this weight room.
How'd that work out for you? Pretty good.
It worked out pretty good. I must admit.
Now, Antonio, you played for Coach Saban at Cleveland, right?
Correct.
What was he like as an what was he like then compared to now?
You know what's crazy is Nick has never been an NFL guy. Never has been. When I came in as a rookie, he was not an NFL guy because he didn't like the game. You got to understand, when you're in the NFL on that level, everybody grown men, so you can't talk to me like you can talk to kids in college. Yeah. If you say something the way, I'm going to say something back. And if you go to ownership on me, ownership going to say, well, let me show you his contract. You need to look at this. He ain't going he ain't going nowhere no time soon. You better make this work with him. So, you know, he was always meant for college football because he's a teacher. He's one of them. He's a teacher. He likes to develop young men. You're not developing young men when you get in the pros. They already developed. You just got to deal with whatever you get. So
they're just men.
It was cool, man. He did a lot of yelling though. He did a lot. When I started seeing him at Bama, I looked at him. I said, "Man, you keep getting soft, man." And when I came in as a freshman, I wanted to fight you as a rookie. I wanted to fight you every day. But I tell you what, though, the guy he was destined to be who he is today. I mean, I watched him go against Belichick. We playing the Cowboys my rookie year in Dallas, and it's like 4 seconds left. We up 4 points. Dallas need a touchdown to score. Bill wanted a blitz, and Nick looked at him like, I trusted you early in the week against the Giants on a 4th and 17. I let you make the call, and they hit us for 25 yards and went on to win the game. So he had this look like, I'm going to go down swinging. If I'm going to get fired, I'm going to get fired calling my own defense. He called it, and we stopped Dallas. We beat them, and I looked at him after the game. I said, you got to have some big ones to go against Belichick. He talking about he screwed up the game before. Every now and then, you got to go through a little bit of rebuilding period. You got to weed out. You got to weed out the bad weeds, get some new growth in there, and then move forward. Now next year, everybody may be singing a different tune. No. You lose a couple of games when you've been winning, and all of a sudden, everything is over with.
And let's talk about the good old Auburn Tigers and their head football coach. What's y'all's opinions on that?
I like the hire. I think he was the best option they had out there that was willing to take it and needed another chance. I think it's a great hire. I think Lane Kiffin would have been an awful hire.
Really?
I agree. John, I'm the Albie, right? And I've watched it. I thought, man, this Lane Kiffin thing versus Nick Saban thing could possibly be like Coach Dye and Coach Bryant all over again. And then the longer that thing played out, we see Jimmy Sexton basically playing Ole Miss for a raise for Lane Kiffin, and then Coach Freeze coming in. And I honestly think Coach Freeze, for Auburn, not for everybody. Auburn's not the same program as Alabama or Georgia, but for Auburn, yeah, I think that was possibly the best hire they could have had.
I agree.
And I think with hiring Lane would have been bad, too, because, see, I think Lane's mindset is only how many points I can put up every Saturday. Yeah. And it is like his focus is not on the whole overall game. Yeah, he probably on offense and on special teams, but when it comes to defensively, it's almost like he's saying, if y'all can give me one stop, I can score. Give me up one touchdown, I think I can win the game. But Hugh Freeze has been in the business for a while, and he's beaten Nick back-to-back years, so he understands not just offense, but he understands the defensive side of needing a defense in the SEC. So I think Hugh brings a complete package to Auburn. I get so fed up when people look at a person and they make a mistake. Now you want to throw that cloud over his head forever. What happened to it? Everybody makes a mistake. He's not the first coach that made a mistake. No. I mean, you had a gripe about Bruce Pearl, then you bring Bruce Pearl into Auburn, and you're in the Final Four. You almost win a national championship in basketball with Bruce Pearl.
That's true.
And the stuff Bruce Pearl did was almost no worse. It wasn't no different than almost what Hugh Freeze. It was some different stuff, but both of them had baggage. But you got winners.
They both had baggage.
Yeah, they both had baggage, but they're proven winners. And then when you come in and then his football program turns around, then all of a sudden the headline rings, Hugh Freeze is the best hire for Auburn in a long time. You know how it goes.
Right, exactly.
What was you going to say, John? You going to say something? Antonio.
Oh yeah, I was saying that baggage is a little bit different.
Yeah, you know, I called it and had to change it. I said that baggage. I had to catch that one. I had to think about it. I said, yeah,
that's
that baggage is a little different.
Yeah. That second part of the baggage. Your first part with paying the players, that's a few other things.
That's right.
Yeah, everybody does that.
You know, I was watching TV. I think it was last week or week before, whenever they announced that Auburn had decided on their coach, and somebody at Fox Sports must think it's going to get pretty cold down there in Auburn because their graphic said that huge freeze was
oh my goodness. It was a major typo. Now, before we get off, what I think is what Hugh Freeze is going to do that's going to be huge for Auburn is Hugh is going to go back. Hugh Freeze is going to go back. He's going to go back to the high school coaches in the state of Alabama. He's going to start. Yes, sir.
While everybody is bumping their heads in this transfer portal, He's going to go get some high school kids, man, and he's going to turn Auburn program around because you look at it, everybody in America is what? In the portal.
Yeah.
And I can't for the life of me understand how you going to open up a portal and give everybody 45 days. It's just free agency, 45 days. Then they go through spring practice, then in May you open it up for another 15 days. You mean to tell me in 45 days half of America hadn't figured out where they want to go to school?
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The way I see it, you're going in the portal to get quarters anyway. Everybody in that portal have quit somewhere. Yeah.
Free agency. That's all it is.
It really is. It's just,
that's all it is.
Yeah.
And you're killing high school kids. What about these high school kids that train and work their butts off, they're looking for, trying to get a scholarship, and then you got to hear coaches like, well, we want to go through the portal first and see what we can find. Guess what? Unless you've been in a situation like Jalen Hurts or a few other guys, if you are in the portal, I really don't want you because they're telling me the moment you ain't happy, you'll quit on me anyway.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's
right.
Yeah.
Say it. That'll preach, brother. That'll preach right there.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, Antonio Langham, John Copeland. I could have kept on going.
Oh, yeah, they were great.
Yeah, we just scratching the surface on a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's time to take a break. You're listening to Applebee's Tailgate Talk on WKAC, the Big 1080.
P4 Physical Therapy is a new outpatient provider offering community-based care with a unique partnership model that allows them to consistently deliver world-class outpatient care, emphasizing personalized hands-on treatment. Whether it's orthopedic, physical, geriatric, or manual therapy, sports or neuro rehab, telehealth, or most any type of muscle or joint pain, P4 Physical Therapy promises to treat you with integrity, compassion, faithfulness, and selflessness. Locations in Athens, Huntsville, and Winfield, Alabama, as well as Fayetteville and Knoxville, Tennessee. Look for them on Facebook or online at p4physicaltherapy.com. When things go wrong, State Farm is here to help life go right. And Agent Michael Howell is the one who can help get things back on track. See Michael for your auto, home, life, health, property, and business insurance, and be ready for those unexpected twists that life throws at you. Ask about banking and annuities, too. Call State Farm Agent Michael Howell at 232-5400. Visit him online at michaelhowell.net or go see him at 903 South Clinton Street in Athens. State Farm Agent Michael Howell. There when things go wrong, here to help life go right. Come see all your friends at Applebee's in Athens. 12 minutes guaranteed or it's free Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. 7 items to choose from. Can't make it for lunch? Visit them for happy hour, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. or late night. Half-price appetizers with beverage purchase, 6 appetizers to choose from. Call 233-4430 or order online at Applebee's.com and pick your meal up with Carside to go. Applebee's Neighborhood Grill, Highway 72 in Athens, just off I-65. Eating good in the neighborhood. Now that you've got that new place on the water, BP Riverworks can finish the picture with a boathouse, dock, or seawall. Call Barron Pugh at 251-200-2273 or Tracer Pugh at 256-206-7097. BP Riverworks, licensed and insured, 251-200-2273 or 256-206-7097. You're listening to the best of Tailgate Talk on 1080 WKAC.
Ladies and gentlemen, former Auburn Tiger, former New Orleans Saints, one of my favorite defensive linemen to ever play. I was giving you a big intro, Willie. War Eagle, brother. This is Mr. Willie Whitehead.
That's the only one you'll hear that from today.
I am the only smart one here at the table, brother. Surrounded by
that's questionable.
Surrounded by Gumps everywhere. No, I wouldn't call these guys Gumps. They're just good. They're good friends. They're just Bama fans. That's all.
Bama. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's just an Auburn guy, so we'll let y'all talk.
This is Mr. Whitehead for you guys. I can call him Willie. Y'all say Mr. Whitehead.
Sir.
As big as he is, I'll call him anything he tells me.
I'll say yes, sir.
Willie, you'll find out early on that we are not your standard sports talk radio. We have a great time here. We don't
get serious.
We don't get too awful serious about it. But my friend, you went through Auburn, you went through Canada, and you ended up at the Saints. Before we get too deep into it, you were on the field when Curly Hallman kept calling those pass plays. Auburn couldn't move the ball that day, and you guys, as the defense, intercepted 3 passes and returned it for a touchdown. Am I correct on that?
The LSU game.
That's the LSU game.
I remember that game.
Oh man, it was one of the greatest turnarounds in I think college football history. That was amazing. To come back and literally 1 quarter, and pretty much win the game. So that took a lot. That's kind of unheard of. So we did it. We did it.
Yeah, Willie, this is Todd. So I'm one of the big Alabama fans sitting here at the table. So I remember that game.
I'm holding against you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I won't hold it against you for whooping us either. So thanks a lot. I remember being at a friend of mine's house. There was a bunch of us over there, and they were all big Auburn fans. And I was just laughing my tail off because y'all were getting, beat and playing bad and couldn't do squat. And then, oh my God, the defense, y'all just cranked it up, and I couldn't believe it, man. I mean, that is probably one of the best defensive efforts I've ever seen in college or pro that I can remember. So I just want to give you hats off to that.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah.
You played for Coach Terry Bowden, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you were on the field when was it the undefeated season?
Yes, undefeated.
Well, what was it like playing on the field? Being you were on probation, you couldn't be on television, you couldn't go to bowl games. So tell us what it was like in the locker room and you guys playing for each other.
I think really it was really energized because it got us closer together. Our circumstances really brought us close, and we end up putting one goal for the team because we were on probation, and we knew we can play for national championship. So everybody bought in. All the players bought in, coaches bought in. So we're gonna have one goal, and that's to win all our games. We're not going to let this define us, but, we're going to get close together, as a team. So guys start, sticking close, hanging out together, and just, not caring really who gets the credit. But everybody, looked out for each other. And, we worked hard, before and after practice because we all had one goal, and that was to win every game. And everybody was determined because of the situation we were in. Everybody was pissed and ready. We're gonna do it. So that was it.
That game and during that season, that magical undefeated season is all you can call it. I was actually there at the Florida game when you upset Coach Spurrier and. You had so many things that went on in that Florida game, from Ace Atkins, from the sacks he made, from the plays you guys made on the defensive line, the interception inside the end zone. It's Calvin Jackson that done that and took it 102 yards for a touchdown.
I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, that was magical. That was a magical game. As you know, it's hard to play and win in Swamp. That stadium is it's something serious. So to go in there, and they were number one in the nation, to go in there and upset them, that was something else. But like you said, we all bought in that one goal, so we weren't gonna let anything stop us.
That's awesome.
No matter what. So, but with Frank and Ace and Calvin, those guys, they really they played their butts off.
Tell us a little bit about your once you left Auburn, you went around, you played in Canada, you played for the Saints. My sister is a huge Saints fan, so we used to watch you play on Sundays there. Give us a little bit for those who are interested in the circle of life of Willie Whitehead, and we see you've got a book coming out in 2018.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that too.
Oh, okay. Well, I took kind of an unusual journey, and most guys, they get, they go from college, they get drafted, and they get a scholarship, as a 3-4 star, whatever. But having to walk on Auburn with having to sign with an NFL team, not making training camp, going to Canada for 3.5 years, getting cut from two other another NFL team, and like another CFL team. It was a journey. I went through some things. I learned a whole lot. I mean, it was painful, it was frustrating, but I wouldn't give up on my dreams. So I learned a whole lot, and those things really helped me to get to New Orleans. And I had to work out for New Orleans, and they were impressed. I ended up being there 8 years, and being one of the great players there. But it took a lot of hard work and focus. I really honed in and just, told myself no matter what, I'm going to make this dream a reality, let nothing stop me. So that's pretty much it. And that was the whole purpose of even writing my book. So,
Willie, I want to take it away from you for a second and talk about your nephew, senior nephew, Tahir. Played at Temple, and it says he currently still plays for Detroit Lions. What's it? I know it's great. You had your great career, but what's it like to see your nephew play college and also turn around and play in the NFL?
Oh man! I mean, we're related, but I would call him my nephew. But it's great to see him doing his thing. I'm proud of him. It's a great thing to see family out there playing ball and excelling, and Whitehead name. So I'm proud of him. He's doing great.
That's awesome.
The article's written in November 21st. You returned back to Auburn as an honorary captain. Got to stand there on the field again when the Tigers beat Louisiana Monroe. That had to be a great day.
Oh, yes. It was wonderful time. I mean, it was, oh, my God. Just to be back in the stadium with the fans. And as you know, the Auburn fans are the best fans in the country, Alabama. Just the energy and being around, Coach Malzahn is awesome. All the assistant coaches and the players. I mean, they got a great group of young guys that are great kids, and they're hungry and talented. So it was great to be around those guys and just to be honored like that. So
now you've actually got 3 companies that you kind of juggle there. I mean, you foundation, you got Willie Whitehead Speaker Group, and you also got X-Pro Athletic Training. And I think you've been doing some early signing stuff here.
Yes, sir. My foundation is really built on 4 pillars: live, learn, lead, and believe. And it's a mentoring program working with kids from 8 to 18 years old, disadvantaged youth. And we work with kids with through sports and entertainment, and we deal with financial literacy. We offer tutoring, great, life skills. And we just help the kids to make better choices and become men and men and women. So that was it was really on my heart to start that when I was in New Orleans. I saw the plight of the kids and some personal things I dealt with, and because I really want to make a difference in the life of some kids that wouldn't have the opportunity. get those advantages. So we work with kids in Alabama, Georgia, and Louisiana. I have a book. It's entitled "Fix Your Focus." It's a 7-step process to living your best life. So it tells a lot about my story, but it gives I give a 7-step process on how people can stay focused when they're dealing with any type of adversity. When they're trying to reach their goals or whatever dream they're trying to reach, and just how to deal with transition. So just really about staying focused. It's good for athletes, for corporate leaders, entrepreneurs, whoever who really is trying to really stay focused, in their life. And also with X-Pro, really excited about that because, it's a football training business. And so we work with middle school, high school, college, and pro guys. And we really help them to develop their technique and skills on the football field, but we also provide nutritional guidance. We partner with some guys with the weight training, speed and conditioning. And right now we have 6 guys in this class that signed scholarships.
Wow.
One matter of fact, yesterday they signed with the University of Arkansas. Defensive end, 6'7", 260.
Woo! He's got a little size.
Is that this picture that Miss Dion sent me?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. Out of Sandy Creek High School, and he had 35 offers. When I started working with him, he had no offers, like this time last year. And started working with him. He got an invite to the All-American Combine in San Antonio. And after that, the offers started rolling in, and he signed with Arkansas yesterday. And then another kid, Justin Masco, out of South Gwinnett. Matter of fact, Auburn was recruiting him. He had offers from Auburn, Alabama. He had over 40-some offers, 4-star athlete, and he signed with Clemson. Wow. I know, really want to steal over the Auburn. He signed with Clemson, and he's a special talent. He's going to be like another Vic Beasley with the Falcons.
Okay. Oh, do you have any Alabama guy? You working with any guys going to Alabama? Or come on, man, got to send something to Alabama, brother.
We got some guys coming up that we gonna be steered that way. So we'll see.
You can't send the best over there. Right?
Come on. Sorry, it's the best over there.
That's awesome.
That's great. Willie, thank you so much, buddy, for coming on the show. It's been a blast as always.
We enjoyed it. Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. And everybody listening, go to www.williewhitehead.com, and that's Willie with an IE. And also you can contact Dion Houston, his publicist, at 770-876-7755 for motivational speakers, X-Pro training, and then his book, Fix Your Focus. That is so awesome. Did I get it? Did I cover everything, bud?
Yeah.
All right.
I think so. We're good. If they want to go on our X-Pro site, it's xproathletictraining.com. Even get more information about our training. Training offer.
That's EX or just the X?
XPRO.
XPRO. All right, you got it, man. Thanks a lot, Willie. Big War Eagle, brother.
Thank y'all.
All right, bud. Thanks a lot.
All right, appreciate y'all guys.
Thank you,
appreciate you, buddy.
Good interview, man. Good interview.
That was a great interview. It was. It's Applebee's Tailgate Talk.
He said
Willie Whitehead.
6'7". I guess that's kind of hard on him working with these kids, and you're like, I would really love to send them to tour, but letting the kids, he's working with them, and they make their own decisions.
They do, yeah.
But man, 6'7" kid going to Arkansas went from no offers to 35.
Mm-hmm.
He must be doing some good workouts with those kids.
Yeah,
I don't know if y'all brought it up, but he walked on. I was thinking
he was a
telling the story,
right?
So he walked on.
He walked on it all,
right?
Okay, I did not know that.
Then he was an undrafted free agent. So it was on the practice squad for San Francisco, and also played for I think Baltimore Stallions in the CFL that same year, and then plays it like for Montreal and a couple other CFL leagues, and then it's just amazing that all of that, and then he has an unbelievable 8-year run
at the
Saints. And I don't know if the numbers didn't sound right, but from what I read, I believe it said that he was second in all-time with sacks for the Saints with like 24.5 sacks or something.
Yeah.
But, so it looks like to me a bunch of teams prior to the Saints missed out big time.
A lot of
didn't
teams
they?
missed out. Absolutely. That is true. You're listening to Applebee's Tailgate Talk on WKAC, the Big 1080.
From day one, First National Bank has been built on a strong foundation of community first. First to lend a helping hand, first to help with community events and fundraisers, first to support local students, athletic programs, and civic organizations, first to support events like United Way, Relay for Life, and many more charitable events, and most importantly, working for our great community. Without you, there'd be no First National Bank. Making communities great together, that's what we strive for.
Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Daly & Son Car Care is Ardmore's only one-stop auto repair and tire shop. Whether it's major mechanic or brake work or routine maintenance like an oil change or lube job, Daly & Son Car Care has been satisfying customers all over with their fast and friendly service. They're also your headquarters for quality Cooper tires. Stop by and see Wayne, Nikki, or Dale at 25600 Main Street in Ardmore, Tennessee, or call them at 931-427-4651. They're on Facebook, too. Daly & Son Car Care, open Monday through Friday, 7:30 till 5, and Saturday, 7:30 till noon.
Limestone Drug, located on the square in downtown Athens, is your local Health Mart pharmacy. As your local Health Mart pharmacy, Limestone Drug is locally owned and has a personal commitment to the community. Limestone Drug honors prescription drug plans, including Medicare. They accept flex spending cards and fill prescriptions in minutes, not hours. Limestone Drug knows there's nothing more important than your family's well-being. So shop Limestone Drug at 200 West Market Street in Athens, your local Health Mart pharmacy. Limestone Drug, caring for you and about you.
Your roof is the first line of defense for your home. Do you have water stains on your ceiling, paint peeling off your walls, shingles missing? It's probably time for you to get your free roof inspection. Locally owned and operated, licensed, and insured, Yellowhammer Roofing is the Yellowhammer State hometown team. Yellowhammer Roofing. Let our family protect what's most important to you, your family. 256-232-1933 or online at yellowhammerroofing.com.
If your place on the water needs some attention, call BP Riverworks. Boathouses, docks, seawalls, and repairs. Call Baron Pugh at 251-200-2273 or Tracer Pugh at 256-206-7097. BP Riverworks. Licensed and insured, 251-200-2273 or 256-206-7097. Welcome back to the best of Tailgate Talk on 1080 WKAC.
Well, let me tell everybody who we got right here on the Applebee's Tailgate Talk hotline. We have former Chicago Bears and Seattle Seahawks guard Bob Newton online. And Mr. Newton, we're looking at this thing, that laundry list of accomplishments you've got. And my goodness, Bob, it's you had a heck of a career. We're glad to have you on the show.
Well, thanks, Tim. It's great to be on your show, and yeah, it was a great. I had a great experience in football on all levels, high school, college, and in the professional rank. Met a lot of great teammates and coaches, and it was a phenomenal experience for sure.
Bob, we got here where you see where you went to junior college, and then you were recruited by some assistant coach at Nebraska by the name of Tom Osborne. What does Coach Osborne mean to you?
Oh, he means a lot to me. We've remained in communication for first time I met him was December of 1968, and that's when he began to recruit me. And it was really a new endeavor for Nebraska. They had never recruited junior college players in California or high school players, really, but they were in need of some immediate help. So they decided to start recruiting in California, and I remember Coach Osborne coming to my house at night, and it was dark, and I remember opening the door and seeing his tall, thin silhouette image,
anyway, he's just been a heck of a role model to me, and he was his integrity and genuineness, and Coach Devaney's enthusiasm for football. They were really the things that got me to go to Nebraska from California, because I'd never been in a winter before, and I went back to Lincoln, Nebraska on my recruiting trip. It was about 7 below zero.
Wow. Unbelievable.
I said, I'm never coming here. But, you know, they were persuasive. They stayed with it, and it worked out great.
Well, that 7 below degree temperature had to help you when you got to Chicago, at least, right?
Yeah. And, you know, the phenomenal thing about Chicago was just being around players like Dick Butkus and Gale Sayers. And,
yes.
You know, I saw Gale Sayers his last season, which was 1971, which was my rookie year, and then got to play with Dick for about 2.5 years. And then I saw Walter Payton's rookie. I was with him his rookie year, 1975. And just, you know, the tradition of the Chicago Bears and George Halas, and that, you know, we struggled. We had, in my 5 years there, we had 3 different head coaches, so we didn't have a lot of continuity, but we were physical. We were still very physical, and we were in a lot of games. We just didn't win a lot of them.
Were you there when Brian Piccolo was there in Chicago?
No.
Okay.
No, Brian had died, I believe, a year or 2 before I got there. But when that movie, the Brian's song, was filmed, it was filmed my rookie year in Rensselaer, Indiana, where we were having our summer camp, our 2-day camp. And, of course, Billy D. Williams and James Caan were with us there for at least a couple of weeks on our training camp. And, no, they were very unknown actors at that time. At that point, they were starting to begin their career, and of course, they became very legendary actors. But I think that film, Brian's Song, really started. And they told me that was a pretty good, authentic representation of Gale and Brian's relationship, and from the guys that were teammates with them.
We've got some notes on you, and You have admitted, you know, that you were a recovering alcoholic. And to me, some of the biggest work you may have done was what happened after you finished playing ball and going back to the University of Nebraska and getting your degree in chemical dependency field. You mind talking about a little bit about that and what you've done with the Betty Ford Clinic?
Yeah, thank you, Jim. That's been a very, very important part of my life. I kind of grew up as a teenager in high school and getting messages to drink and smoke pot and all that. And all I can say is, you know, I came from a family where alcoholism was very prevalent on both sides of my mom and my dad. So I really believe there was a genetic predisposition, but I developed problems with alcohol and other drugs, cocaine and marijuana, and I had legal problems. I got DUIs. It was really affecting the Bears thought I was going to be an all-pro offensive guard within a year or two after I got a little bit more experience. So I really think it robbed me of reaching my full potential for me. Now, there may be some guys in the NFL that can drink and party and everything and still be all-pro, but, you know, I had to be full go, and I think it kind of robbed my abilities to a certain degree, and it affected relationships. So when I finally got released from the Seahawks, I got released from the Seahawks after an 11-year career, and I had a few weeks of playing in the USL, but the alcoholism had progressed to just a point where I just said I need help. And I'd been talking to a woman counselor up here in Seattle, and she finally said, "You got to go into treatment, Bob." So I went into treatment July 12th, 1983, for my addictions, and thank God I kept an open mind, got a lot of education, and then I got very passionate about helping others and talking about this issue, and coming out that, you know, there's people that's got these problems. And the stigma still, it's not as bad as it used to be, but there's still a stigma to that name. And so I just wanted to go out and help people and build more awareness on that issue.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Bob. Doing that, and going out and helping people. Like you said, you had an issue. You knew you needed help. You got the right help, and then you went out and now are you still doing this today? Is that what you're doing? Still doing this kind of work?
Yeah, I do. I still do a little. I'm recovering from back surgery right now. I had back surgery in November, so I'm still rehabbing, but I still lecture at the Betty Ford Center a couple times a month, and then I work here in the community as a counselor, as a private counselor, and then I'll be doing some traveling later in the summer to other treatment centers and doing some lectures. So I'm still pretty active. I want to stay active in that regard. I still really enjoy meeting with people and seeing people get better and improve and get into recovery. Now, some people, they got to go back out there and drink and drug some more and have to experiment more and get in pain, but I believe pain is a good teacher, but yes, I'm still very passionate about that as I was when I first got sober and clean. If you just Google Bob Newton and look up relapse prevention, there's a presentation I gave up in Seattle, I think 3 or 4 years ago. And there used to be one on the Betty Ford Center website.
Okay.
But I haven't technologically progressed as much as I should, I think. But the other day I was doing some searching, and that relapse prevention workshop or presentation that I gave should be up there. But if you Google Bob Newton Betty Ford Center, there should be some stuff that comes up.
All right, Bob.
Thanks for sharing that.
Man,
thank you, Bob.
Thank you for sharing,
that's awesome,
with
Bob.
us. We want to once again thank you for coming on the show and welcome you back anytime.
Well, thank you, Tim and Mark. I appreciate it, and
thank you.
Appreciate you the interest you had for this subject. I really do.
That's a good thing.
Okay,
we like to use this as a medium to get a good word out, brother. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. That was former Chicago Bear, Seattle Seahawks guard Bob Newton.
Like you said, some people, he said, he wanted to talk about it, and he's out. So I figured, what better way to show that if you've got a problem, if you're out there listening right now, you got a problem, there's ways to get help. And so there it is.
You've been listening to Applebee's Tailgate Talk on WKAC, the Big 1080.
Home security is not what it used to be. With Secure Connect and smart home integration features, you can unlock your doors and turn off your alarm from your smart home app. No more hiding a key under a rock. Get Secure Connect and live life connected. Call Ardmore Telephone Company at 800-830-9946 to secure your home today.
When things go wrong, State Farm is here to help life go right. And Agent Michael Howell is the one who can help get things back on track. See Michael for your auto, home, life, health, property, and business insurance, and be ready for those unexpected twists that life throws at you. Ask about banking and annuities, too. Call State Farm Agent Michael Howell at 232-5400. Visit him online at michaelhowell.net or go see him at 903 South Clinton Street in Athens. State Farm Agent Michael Howell. There when things go wrong, here to help life go right.
From day one, First National Bank has been built on a strong foundation of community first. First to lend a helping hand, first to help with community events and fundraisers, first to support local students, athletic programs, and civic organizations, first to support events like United Way, Relay for Life, and many more charitable events, and most importantly, working for our great community. Without you, there'd be no First National Bank. Making communities great together, that's what we strive for.
Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Now that you've got that new place on the water, BP Riverworks can finish the picture with a boathouse, dock, or seawall. Call Barron Pugh at 251-200-2273 or Tracer Pugh at 256-206-7097. BP Riverworks, licensed and insured, 251-200-2273 or 256-206-7097. Welcome back to the best of Tailgate Talk on 1080 WKAC.
We've got a very special guest. He is in the Hall of Fame of Hall of Fames, especially in Mississippi, Coach Hill Denson. Coach, we have been excited to talk to you ever since we found out you were coming on the show.
Well, I appreciate that, guys. Looking forward to it.
Now, I have to confess a little bit. I know a little bit about Bellhaven and Millsaps in that area. My son played college football at Mississippi College, just over right around the corner, so I'm familiar with that area. But
right.
But he didn't play baseball, and there's a lot of good baseball playing down in there. And this, I don't know, we don't know where to start, because the first thing when we start talking about is you coached against Will the Thrill and Rafael Palmeiro one year, and so I hear you laughing. Maybe we'll use that to get us started.
Yeah, my first year at Southern Miss. I retired at Southern Miss first, and then came to Bellhaven, and actually ended up getting a retirement there, so I'm double retarded. But that first year that I was at Southern Miss was when Palmeiro and Clark and Big Penn and all those guys were at Mississippi State, and I always prided ourselves. We went up there for a weekend series, and we held Palmeiro and Clark to 6 home runs in that 3 games.
Wow. That's strong, buddy. That's strong right there.
So put it on, boy.
I don't expect you to remember this, Coach, because you have talked to, obviously, through the years, so many high school coaches. But do you remember a coach from Limestone County, East Limestone, named Dennis Black, by chance?
I do remember the name. I sure do.
Okay, the only reason I asked is because I graduated in '84, and y'all were actually talking to David McLean, who was my best friend growing up. We had a young man named Roy Fletcher who signed with Southern Miss in basketball, and I think Coach Black was trying to make it a package deal for y'all to take my buddy David and Roy. But that's the only reason I brought that up. But yeah, y'all had so many good teams there, and obviously at Bellhaven with all the success. And does any one more season stand out maybe than others at any particular school?
Well, I think the biggest probably accomplishment at Southern Miss was our getting to a regional for the first time back in the times that I went to Southern Miss. I went in '84 and coached through '97 season there, and then got my state retirement there. I stayed on part-time with the state retirement until 2000, then I went to Bellhaven. But I think probably the biggest year or 2 years there that we had was when we finally got to the point that we were going to regional. Now, let me back up and tell you a little bit about Southern Miss in those days. Most of my years at Southern Miss, we were not in what is now Conference USA. We were in the old Metro Conference.
Yep.
The old Metro Conference wasn't that well known because all of our football teams were independents. And then our conference was all the rest of the sports were played in the conference. Now, let me just tell you who all was in the old Metro, because most people don't know that. But it was us and Florida State, South Carolina, Virginia Tech, Louisville, Cincinnati, Memphis, Tulane, and us.
Strong.
So it was a really good baseball conference, and the sorriest thing in there was Southern Miss at the time we got in there. So, but we felt like we had accomplished something. We started in the spring of '84. Now, I didn't go there till January, but I still get credit for that 13-36 season that we had. I got there in January and played about 3 weeks later. And but anyhow, still get credit for that. It takes a long time to get over a 13-36 season. But anyhow, by 1988, we had gotten to a point that we were being ranked in the country as in attendance, and so we were pushing hard there to do that. And by in the year 90, we made the regionals for the first time, and then 91 made it again. So, those years probably were our, the most prolific accomplishment, I guess you'd say, that we had at the time. But we went from really an intramural status type baseball program to what I thought was nationally competitive, and we had finally caught up with Florida State in 1991 when they were in our league. We were battling for a championship, and And that, that felt like that had accomplished a lot. And then that's the year that they left the conference and people started moving around conference and all, everything got all out of whack after that. But, I stayed on through the beginning of Conference USA and all that kind of stuff too. But most of my years were in the old Metro, and it was quite a conference, to be real honest. A lot of long travels too in old buses back in those days. About everything was about 10 hours away except us, Tulane, and maybe us in Memphis. So this time we're 10, 11, 12, 13 hours on a bus. So.
Yeah, I was going to say that's some rough travel.
Series over the years. Had a lot of good friends in the old Metro Conference. It was a good one. So. Anyhow, that's basically.
Coach, I got a question for you. In 1987, did you ever think about going to football and getting you another pitcher by the name of Brett Favre?
Actually, we recruited. Brett came to play for both of us. So his dad and I played ball at USM together in the 60s.
Yes, sir.
We were on the same team. His dad we called him Chief. He was a pitcher. He couldn't bust his egg against the wall, but he threw a knuckleball and a breaking ball and got a lot of people out. He was a good one. He and I were close friends. But Brett came to really play both back in those days. But by the time of the third game of his true freshman year, he was on the field playing. Of course, the way scholarships work, baseball doesn't get anything but partial scholarships. Still don't, by the way, which is a little bit in my crawl. But get partial scholarships. So if somebody comes to play both, they're going to take the football scholarship. So then, basically we help the football teams a lot by telling people they can come play both. Mm-hmm. And then most of the time when they get there, they get tired. They're worn out by the time it's time to go to spring, and they've already missed fall practice, and so, et cetera. And so they never get to play both. Very few ever play both. But Brett came to play both, and by the time he was in the third week of his freshman year, he was on the field and started every game for the next 4 years. So, the football coaches, he didn't have any touch. He had a lot of things he had to work on, but the day he stepped on the field at Southern Miss, it I think saved Southern Miss football program at that time. We were getting really low in attendance and people not paying much attention to it, and things were just at a low place when Brett stepped on the field. I told my wife that day, we were sitting at the ball game, and I said, I think he just saved football here. And everything was exciting for 4 years. So it was a good one.
Coach Denson, no doubt. To be honest with you, I took a visit when Coach Carmody was the coach. Took a visit in '86 to Southern Miss, and it was a long drive for me and my dad in an old pickup truck. And when I got there, he told me, he said, "Man, I'm building an offensive line to protect the quarterback," and my dumb, ignorant, mental midget self didn't realize that the quarterback was Brett Favre. I'm not nowhere near an NFL player, but I could have been a good friend of Brett Favre forever. That would have been incredible. I just didn't. I mean, the prettiest girls I've ever seen in my life were at Southern Miss University, but it was just a drive. The roads in '86 wasn't like the roads are in 2020. I promise you, down to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, from Athens.
Back talking about those good-looking girls. Now, I've always had a rating system around the league, all the places we play in over the years, and there was the top 3 teams. I got a top 3 if you guys are interested.
Yes, sir, we are. I'm very interested.
Well, the top 3, and in no certain order of the top 3, but Florida State, Ole Miss, and Southern Miss.
There you go.
Were the three best women of all.
Yes, sir.
I love it. That may have changed. Yes, I'm not knocking up now. Well, I am too.
That's awesome.
That is great.
That's awesome.
What are you talking about? A lot of the athletes were, you attracted them by saying, "Hey, you can play both." And according to an article I'm looking at here, whenever you took over, the baseball program was kind of held together with football and basketball players.
Well, yeah, but Pete Taylor was my coach, by the way. I played for Pete, and Pete had been there 25 years, but really Pete was a football coach. And, it was back like they used to do high schools, how all the football coaches, the assistant football coaches coach the baseball team. And, they more or less just had to roll the balls out there and let you play a little bit and say that so they could get supplemented to be the baseball coach. And that's the way baseball was approached back in those days. And things started to change about the time I went to Southern Miss and all schools around. And a great example of that, and I said it over and over the whole period, Ron Polk and I are really good friends. And Pokey had a great program there at Mississippi State, as y'all know, and toward the end of my career and his career too, we people started complaining they weren't doing this, they weren't doing that. Well, it talked like they've gone down, they're not near as good as they used to be, and that wasn't the case at all. What happened was all the teams around started trying to be baseball teams. And back when I was in high school, there were only about 6 or 8, 5, 6, 7 teams in the country, Division I teams, that cared one flip about baseball. And one of them was Mississippi State. And Mississippi State, way before Ron Polk, was a team that cared about college baseball. And there was nobody else in the SEC that cared much except maybe Florida and Mississippi State in the league then. Nobody else cared. And they were. Now, Skip Bertman started at LSU the same time I started at USM. But people around for instance, all the Southern Misses and all the Northeast Louisianas and Southwestern Louisianas and everybody else all started hiring baseball coaches to coach baseball, as well as the junior colleges in the state and the high schools. And we really changed that in this part of the country now. We are, Mississippi is kind of, you guys probably over there thinking about it too, being in Alabama. Mississippi is one of the places we're kind of 50th in everything usually. But one of the things we're not 50th in is college baseball now, and I'm pretty proud of that. That's happened over the last, 20, 30 years, but we got, several good programs in the state, Division 2, 3, 4, not 4, but 1, all the different divisions. So Mississippi, again, is probably in the top 5 in the nation as far as baseball attendance and drawing and selling tickets and making money and that sort of thing. So the problem is, I've been an advocate over the years of I was working hard back in the 90s. We had a committee all over the nation working on it, trying to move into the summer when the baseball fans will not just baseball fans, any athletic fans will not accept a sport out of season. And the best example I can give you of that is NFL. NFL, which is the most popular sport in the country right now, it took over from Major League Baseball back in the 80s and 90s. But the National Football League has tried about 15 times that I can remember to play football in the summertime. And the public doesn't accept that, and none of it ever works. They do it over and over. They just got through trying to do one called, I don't know what they call it, XFL or something. And it's not going to make it. And people won't go to a football game in the summer. As well as, the public perceives the sports like this in the United States. Football goes in the fall, basketball in the winter, and baseball in the summer. Yep. And that's when it ought to be played. Now, the only problem is colleges and high schools in baseball have always tried to pack it in the school year, which ended about the time baseball really supposed to be starting. So that's kind of thrown us off all these years, and all the old hands still think in terms of that. We got to get through by the end of school. We worked hard to move the baseball season back. I'll summarize and say we did get it moved back a month. The College World Series is a month later than it was back then, but it's still not far enough. College baseball season ought to go from April the 1st to August the 15th. And then football season, and then basketball season. Right now, we're trying to play college baseball during basketball season. Yes. Most of our season.
Yes, sir. They're doing that. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't interrupt you.
just that simple. It will not work. People will not go to a sport when it's not supposed to be played. So that's why you have now only the South has made it work because it's a little warmer down here. But back when we were fighting for that to get things changed, I was really surprised. We were hit by some coaches in the Northeast that didn't want to move into the summer, and it just threw me all off in my thinking. I couldn't figure out why in the world that would happen. Those guys up there didn't want to move to the summer. And one of the coaches that was doing pretty good in college baseball back then came to me and said, we were at the convention where we'd been talking to our group of coaches and so forth. And he came to me and said, Coach, basically what you got up there in this I knew what he was talking about because we kind of had done that here in Mississippi the years before. But he said, we've got a bunch of older coaches that are paid a little to coach baseball. They want to get their 30 games in or 20 games in and then go home and go fishing the rest of the year. They don't give one flip about whether we get college baseball better or not. So that was the objection, and it threw me off. Several parts of the country had done that.
We'll be back with more of our Tailgate Talk conversation after this. While others have come and gone, the Lions Den Gym has been roaring as a workout and exercise fixture in Athens, growing from its humble basement beginnings in 1981 to their current 10,000 square foot location at 212 Commercial Drive in Athens. The Lions Den offers 24/7 access to their ever-expanding equipment collection that includes treadmills and climbers, elliptical trainers, stationary bikes, loose weights and dumbbells, and over 45 different weight machines. Contact the Lions Den Gym about a membership today at 256-652-2627. Visit them online at lionsdengym.com or on Facebook, the Lions Den Gym, 256-652-2627.
For screen printing, sign printing, banners, logo design, and more, look no further than That Shirt Printing Place. Located at 709 North Jefferson Street in Athens. Call 256-444-1827. That Shirt Printing Place. Visit them online at thatshirtprintingplacellc.com. Look for them on Facebook too. That Shirt Printing Place. 256-444-1927. That Shirt Printing Place.
The Bama Zach Memorial Scholarship has been set up to honor the legacy of Bama Zach Green, a huge fan of the Crimson Tide, along with Limestone County sports. The scholarship will go each year to a male and female athlete from Limestone County. Checks should be made out to Bama Zach Memorial Scholarship and can be sent in care of Garth Garris, 13833 Pinnacle Drive, Athens, Alabama, 35613. Donations can also be made in person at First State Bank of the South at 1319 Highway 72 East in Athens. Thank you for showing your support for local athletes by giving to the Bama Zach Memorial Scholarship. Come see all your friends at Applebee's in Athens. 12 minutes guaranteed or it's free Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. 7 items to choose from. Can't make it for lunch? Visit them for happy hour, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. or late night. Half-price appetizers with beverage purchase, 6 appetizers to choose from. Call 233-4430 or order online at Applebee's.com and pick your meal up with Carside to go. Applebee's Neighborhood Grill, Highway 72 in Athens, just off I-65. Eating good in the neighborhood. We continue with our conversation on the best of Tailgate Talk on 1080 WKAC.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about this. Maybe you don't like to brag on yourself, but I'm fixing to brag on you. Your overall coaching record at all levels is 1,083 wins with 717 losses and 2 ties.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
Yeah.
So
well, I didn't know what it was, but there's a lot of losses in there. I know that. I can remember them a lot more.
I'm more curious about the ties.
You're getting credit for 36 there that you weren't really there for the whole time. So,
yeah, 36.
What did you say?
You're getting credit for those 36 losses that first season that you.
Oh yeah, 13, 36, and two ties.
Now, how do you have a tie in baseball? I mean,
well, back then we didn't have lights.
No, you didn't have lights. That's what it was.
Yeah, and the score was tied. So we shut it down and tied.
That's the way it was at Bible school. They didn't have lights.
Yeah.
Todd and I and Tim, we're all the same, and Clint as well. Coach Legg, we all played. Well, I played baseball. Clint, did you play baseball? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Todd and I played opposite each other, so So I was wondering about the lights, but yes, there's a couple of places back then that didn't have lights.
One of those times we get somebody mentioned Mississippi College there a while ago.
Yes,
we had Mississippi College down in Southern Miss my first year, and I was always big on doing the right thing in baseball, playing like the game's supposed to be played and so forth. So we jumped out ahead. They beat us the first game of a doubleheader. Second game, we jumped out and got a 10-0 lead. So the old coach was trying to show our players that what you do in baseball is you back off a little bit and get some other guys in, and don't run it up on, make people look bad. We did that, and it was 10-10 at the end of the darkness that night.
Oh goodness!
That was one of our ties that we had. That's one I remember. So.
Well, let me ask you this, Coach. So back in the 80s, early 90s, it seemed like Southern Miss was almost a surrogate team of the SEC in football because the way teams, scheduled them. Who did y'all play out of conference? Who was y'all's kind of go-to out of conference schedule? Did y'all ever play many teams out of the SEC?
Oh, well, yeah. My first games were with Skip Burton. His first games and my first games were with each other. Actually, I played a weekend ahead of him against Livingston, but played LSU. His first games were at Southern Miss. But if we play LSU, we'd play, of course, Ole Miss and State. We all played every year. Back there in baseball, we weren't like the silly football people scared to play each other and all that, so we played. They always scared it's going to make them look bad if somebody beats them. And we had a tendency to beat them a lot. So in football, I'm talking about. And so it wouldn't play. And our legislature's never done what they've done in Florida, where they required all of us to play, which is what they did in Florida. That's the reason you see Miami, Florida State, and Florida all playing. Back when Florida State and Miami were independents. So, they were independents, but they all played each other in football, and that, of course, kept a lot of money in the state on Saturdays in the fall, and instead of going out of state, instead of us going over there and playing you guys in Alabama, we could have been playing at Ole Miss or whatever, vice versa. So anyhow, that's kind of stuff. I'm a kind of a philosopher, as y'all can tell. I don't mean to be, but I get to running on about some of this stuff. I was in on a lot of the things going on with conference changing and things like that. So I know a lot about it back in those days.
I've got a question that Todd always asks some of our guests that was around the game when it was different. The game of baseball when it was different, when you didn't play on turf fields, and the gravel, that one piece of gravel, and when you're playing shortstop is going to be the one that daggone baseball hits and pops you right in the chin, But the field, the fields back then were dirt. You hit and you bunted, you hit and run, you stole. Nowadays it seems like in pro ball it's long ball or nothing. Very few times will you have a coach that'll play small ball and play actually real baseball. So I just want your ideas on that. I'm old school when it comes to that stuff. So,
well, I'm an old codger, but I'm not necessarily old school. I tell you what, the turf field is the most wonderful thing that's ever been invented for baseball.
Okay.
And I've been playing on it since 2005 here. We were one of the first to have it in college baseball. We were first to put it at home plate and then on the mound and things like that. And I'm a big proponent of it. So I absolutely love it. It's just so much better than playing on different dirt fields and all that. But anyhow, I won't get into all that part of it. But it is great to play on. I've always liked... Of course, I've always been an old Yankees fan. I was a Yankees fan as a kid, and I always liked the 3 or 4-run homer. I wasn't one of those guys that did all that. Well, I did bunt because we had a lot of guys that couldn't do anything but bunt. But if they hit one out, hit one a long way, my thinking's always been if they've done it once, they can probably do it again. Let's let them swing at that thing. See?
I hear you. They say it's a lot easier.
Now, the guy that never hit one, the one that is not capable of hitting one over the fence, you might well bunt with him. See, that's what. And there are those guys in the game. I love little leadoff hitters that get on and that sort of thing. And so I love that part. In fact, I was actually one of those guys. I was a guy that ran and bunted and drag bunted and things like that. So, but I always liked those old boys behind me hit that home run. I didn't have to run so hard to get home. I could just trot in there, if they hit that homer behind me.
Now
I've always loved it.
You said drag bunt. Are you a lefty?
Yeah, I am a lefty. I'm a lefty in everything. Hitting, and that's about it, really. Now, I have bought some left-handed golf clubs now, and I've discovered it didn't help me any. I play with righties. But, that game is
frustrating.
That's a hard game, man. That's a frustrating game. And, I could hit that thing if they'd throw it to me, but I can't get it.
That's good.
One of the things I've noticed is that their bats are too long. I hit the ground a lot before I get to the ball.
They're not balanced good either, Coach. You got the real big end on the end and a tiny little end up on the top.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful game.
That's funny.
Well, you see, you retired from Southern Miss. What brought you out of retirement to go to Bellhaven?
Well, I don't really know. I was still working at the university. The state of Mississippi allows you to retire, and then you could work half days or part time, in other words. And I was still working with fundraising in the Eagle Club and all that. But I had started doing a little commercial real estate, and I liked that sort of thing. But I don't know. I got a call one day from Bellhaven, and Judy and I had started out. I was a coach in Jackson at Callaway High School for 10 years, and back in those days, Callaway High School was pretty good, and I was a high school coach there for 10 years. So our girls both had been born in Jackson. So Jackson was kind of like home to us. And when Bellhaven called and offered me a job, I looked at her and she looked at me and said, well, might as well go to Jackson, So we did, and I thought I would do it about a year or two and get it out of my system. Dadgum, I got 19 years. I got another retirement.
That's awesome.
Coach, one of my best friend's son got the opportunity to play for you at Bellhaven. His name's Brick Pugh. He played at Bellhaven baseball.
Yeah.
And his buddies,
good with that.
Yes, sir. And his buddies Sanford and all those guys, they come up here a lot to hang out with us. Even though Sanford's an LSU fan, we still allow him in the house.
Yeah, they're some good folks now. Good,
yes,
old Brick and Sanford both. There's a bunch of guys up there too. Over the years, have been
David,
down, in your
yes, sir.
In your area.
Yes, sir. We got another kid down there named David. His David. What is David's last name? He's a pitcher for you from East Limestone. His daddy is one of our bus drivers at school and our music director at church over there. He's a left-handed pitcher from East Limestone. David, gosh almighty.
Well, again, we took a bunch of them down here to play for us.
Yes, sir.
It's from that area up there, and one of my better coaches from Oneonta.
Yes, sir.
One of my assistant coaches has turned into a really great college baseball coach. Is a guy named Andy Gibson.
Yes,
Andrew
sir.
Gibson is from over
That's
there.
right.
And
That's right. David's
he's
name.
Sounded,
yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. David's name's Hall. I don't know what I was thinking. That's his name.
Yeah, David Hall's
yes,
on the
sir.
team now. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I
Sure
was trying to say back older.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And David's not left-handed either. He's right-handed.
I'm sorry.
He's gone through some surgery problems. He played 2 years or 3 years for me, and then last year, of course, that he was coming back from his surgery. He was out the year before, right after the season went into surgery, and then he was coming out of it last year. And of course, they got about 8 or 10 games in, called the season off.
Yeah,
I was kind of chapped about that. I'd been coaching 47 years, I think, and never had a day off that I can remember. I think I might have missed 5 days. With one time I had appendix out and I missed a day or two and things like that. But I maybe 5 days off in all those 47 years. And last year, as soon as the season, that was my first year out, and those old boys got paid the rest of the year for sitting around doing nothing. They couldn't even play.
Well, yes, sir.
I thought that.
Yes, sir.
That was tough. Yes, I should have stayed on one more year and got a year of nothing with a lot of pay.
There you go.
That would have been a good decision, probably.
That'd be one of those consultants. That's what I need to be. I've always wanted to be a consultant.
Yes, sir.
But I don't know what I can consult them on.
Yes, sir.
But anyhow, what's going on over in Huntsville right now? Anything that we got some bunch of cloudy, cold weather in here. We usually a day ahead of y'all over there. My buddy Will Sowell lives over there, and I talk to him just about every day. So we're about a half a day ahead of you usually.
Well, we have a brand new AA ball team that we're hoping to get a season in this year. Rocket City Trash Pandas, and they've got a big nice stadium, Toyota Field, built over here, and we're looking forward to that, Coach. I mean, really are.
Well, one of my years back in the early 80s when we lived in Nashville, my wife and I worked for the Nashville Sound. At that time, we owned the Huntsville
Stars. Yeah.
And then we had a Huntsville baseball team there, too. Now, I say we owned. The guys I worked for that owned the Nashville Sound, several of the music guys, and big bunch of ownership. But we had some stuff down in Huntsville.
Yes,
but they never would let me out of town. I had to stay in Nashville the whole time. So.
We're hoping for Major League Baseball in Nashville before too much longer.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the things. Larry Smitto was my boss back in those days, and he was pushing then in 81, 82, 83. He was pushing for Major League Baseball. And, of course, at that time, we didn't have the population there. But with the explosion that's happened down there around Nashville, I don't mean the explosion in the truck. I'm talking about the explosion of the population.
Right.
That's happened around there. That, I feel like Major League Baseball will start looking at that area now.
Yes, right.
It's possible.
Well, now you mentioned your wife, Judy. Y'all have been married for a lot of years, and I'm looking here at an article. She's got a story in herself. I mean, she was on TV, had her a talk show, and also helped launch the Nashville Network.
Wow.
Right, that's right. And she's a lucky woman, though, see what I say. But she's had me all these years.
Oh.
I tell her she's lucky all the time.
Yeah.
But anyhow,
I tell my wife that too, but she don't believe it, Coach. So.
Well, I don't think mine believes it either. I'm just telling you, I tell her that. But she's we've been married 52 years. That's right. So
that's great. Congratulations.
But yeah, we moved into Nashville 9 or 10 months before the Nashville Network went on the air. Now, that was in 81, 82, along in there. Cable was just starting. Nobody knew what was going to happen. So we took a chance, moved in there, took a chance, and she left down here, and we went up there and I moved without a job. I had been coaching at Callaway High School. But I moved without a job, and we moved in there 9 months ahead, and to help launch the Nashville Network, which became country music's cable station. And so we went through all the beginnings of that, and she ended up being on the show every night. Originally, she wasn't going to be on the show. She was going to be an associate producer that did little stories that would be features. They would go run one a night. In an hour-and-a-half live show, they were going to run one a night, which would be about 2 minutes long. But the whole idea was something to do with the music profession. Any little story, like she had a couple of crews that worked under, and she might send them over to Paducah, Kentucky to do a story on old Billy Bob Smith who made fiddles or something, and something like that would be a interesting feature, and that was the idea. So we moved in there 9 or 10 months ahead of time, and she started with her crews putting things on tape so they could run one a night when the show started. And of course we were there at the beginnings, and when they first opened up, the studios weren't quite ready, and we ended up being in Opryland Hotel the first nights in that main bar there as you come in the door, the old entrance to the thing. But, we were all part of that scene there for 2 or 3 years, and I would go over there a lot at night, and I became, when I caught on with the Sounds, one of the things, I worked for the Nashville Sounds. I did not work for the Yankees. We were Yankees AA club, but I worked for the Sounds, Smitho and them, helped selling season tickets, things like that. But when it came time for the season, Smitho gave me some long title. I never could remember what all it was on my title, but main thing was I had the pregame stuff, and I started out with the beginning of the year. I would go to Judy's show 2 or 3 nights a week over there and sit with them backstage, and it'd be whoever was on the show. I'd sit and visit with them. Well, I found out very quickly that I could just I'd ask all those people, would you like to do the national anthem? And I was so surprised that it didn't matter who it was, how big a star they were, Loretta Lynn, the Gatlin brothers, Charlie Pride, whoever I said it to, man, yeah, I want to do it. And I figured it won't be asking me for money, too, but they didn't, and they all wanted to do it. And I would make them come an afternoon early in the afternoon and practice it, because we had a second and a half delay behind them when they would sing, and it would throw them off. So anyhow, long story short, I had it done. I prided myself all season. We had the national anthem done live all year, the whole season, every game. We didn't miss a game. And we had it on the fiddle, we had it on the harmonica, we had it, people singing it and all that kind of stuff. So that was one of my things that I was in charge of.
Coach,
besides all that, yeah,
it's been a great conversation. We're out of time, my friend, and we hope to have you on again.
Yeah, this was great.
Time flies when you're having fun, buddy.
Well, y'all holler, man. I'd love to talk to you anytime, and I'll shut up next time and let y'all talk to me.
No, that's not what we want to do.
We want to hear from you, buddy. This has been awesome.
Think of some more stories to tell next time. We'll do it again.
All right. Well, good to talk to you guys.
Same here, Coach.
Take care.
Okay, thanks a lot. See you.
See you. Bye-bye. That was Coach Hill Denson. A great conversation. I could love to sit chatting forever with the guy. But it's time to take a break. You're listening to Applebee's Tailgate Talk on WKAC, the Big 1080.
While others have come and gone, the Lions Den Gym has been roaring as a workout and exercise fixture in Athens, growing from its humble basement beginnings in 1981 to their current 10,000 square foot location at 212 Commercial Drive in Athens. The Lions Den offers 24/7 access to their ever-expanding equipment collection that includes treadmills and climbers, elliptical trainers, stationary bikes, loose weights and dumbbells, and over 45 different weight machines. Contact the Lions Den Gym about a membership today at 256-652-2627. Visit them online at lionsdengym.com or on Facebook, the Lions Den Gym, 256-652-2627. If your place on the water needs some attention, call BP Riverworks. Boathouses, docks, seawalls, and repairs. Call Baron Pugh at 251-200-2273 or Tracer Pugh at 256-206-7097. BP Riverworks. Licensed and insured, 251-200-2273 or 256-206-7097.
Home security is not what it used to be. With Secure Connect and smart home integration features, you can unlock your doors and turn off your alarm from your smart home app. No more hiding a key under a rock. Get Secure Connect and live life connected. Call Ardmore Telephone Company at 800-830-9946 to secure your home today.
You're listening to the best of Tailgate Talk on 1080 WKAC.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest, 7'4" former Utah Jazz center, Mark Eaton. And Mark, we normally say, you played with Karl Malone or John Stockton, but the way we think of it,
they play with
John Stockton and Karl Malone play with you.
That's right.
Exactly.
There you go.
How are you guys this morning?
We're wonderful, Mark. We're wonderful. Todd, we have a resident basketball lover here. We've got different guys. I'm more of a baseball fan, and Todd, he was for a short white boy. He played pretty good in high school. I remember watching him play. So, but he loves to talk to the NBA players, and he just absolutely loves the game of basketball. So I'm going to toss it over to Todd, let him talk to you for a little while.
All right, Mark, good morning, man.
All right, sounds good.
I'm only
good
about
morning.
2.5 feet shorter than you, so something like that. But so first of all, I can remember you playing. I'm 53 years old, and I've always followed basketball. Like Tom said, I love it. To me, even though I live in the South, it's the best sport there is out there. But I'm far and few, between in living in Alabama. So we're going to talk about your 7'4.com and all your going around doing motivational speakings in a bit. But I want to talk to you some about your career. So you played junior college ball, right, at Cypress? Is that right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so and then I had not read this initially when I was researching some of this stuff, but I saw so you had the opportunity coming out of there. Well, no, you got drafted. I guess it was different back then. So before you went to UCLA, you actually got drafted. Is that correct because of your age?
I did. The story is that I didn't play much in high school in Southern California, and actually quit basketball at that point, and I went to trade school for a year to learn to be an auto mechanic. And I was working in an Tire Auto Center in Southern California, and a junior college coach convinced me to go back to get basketball another try when I was 21 years old.
Wow.
And after my first year there, I was drafted by the Phoenix Suns because at that time, if your class had graduated, whether or not you've been in school, you're eligible for the draft. So same way they drafted Larry Bird.
Right, and I remember Larry Bird being in that.
So they could hold on to your rights for a year.
Okay, just a year. So, but anyway, why did you feel like at that point you was like, I'm not? Well, you just didn't feel like you were ready, I guess, at that point.
Well, it was really just an invitation to come to training.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. It was like a $30,000 make good contract, and so when I visited with my junior college coach, he said, you're not ready, and it's not a guarantee. Let's just keep rolling here and see what else we can do. And so but it was a wake up call of like, well, geez, maybe I ought to get a little more serious about this game of basketball. So at that point in time, I quit my job as a mechanic, and I got a job selling cars and as a bouncer instead to get through the second half of junior college.
I'd have hated to have been in that bar, man.
Well, you got something to fall back on now, though.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
if
the motivation speaking falls short, which I know it's not, but hey, you can always have a weekend
can knock
gig,
some
right?
Heads.
Yeah, you can.
That's right. Yeah,
motivate during the week and
knock your head
bust
and
them
fix your car.
There you go. Yeah, you got some skills, man. No doubt. So I want to jump into your NBA years a little bit. And I'm sure you've been asked this a million times, but I'm going to ask it for the million first. So who was the toughest center that you felt like you had to face? Because you back then, the game was so much different, and, there's a lot of post-up,
Well, it was a much different game because I came into the NBA with guys like Bob Lanier and Artis Gilmore and Kareem that were the big centers, and as time went on, next couple of years, then, Hakeem Olajuwon came into the fold, and with his soccer background, he had such quick feet and a 7-foot body that he was probably my toughest opponent. Plus, they were in our division, so we played them all the time, and he and I had some battles.
Oh, I'm sure. And I mean, that's some big boys knocking heads down low, and like you said, he did. It was amazing that he was able to transfer his soccer skills into basketball skills as quickly as he did, and. Obviously one of the best. And speaking of one of the best, I mean, you're still ranked 4th in all-time blocks in NBA history. So, and I don't see anybody surpassing you, buddy. So, that's got to be. And the names that you're listed with, Kareem and some of those, that's got to be pretty cool to have your name listed up there. To me, that's one of a really great stat. So.
Well, thank you. It was something that I learned early on that I could be good at, and as I talk about in my presentations, it's finding that one thing you can be excellent at and leveraging it and doing more of it. And Wilt Chamberlain shared some wisdom with me one afternoon when we were playing pickup ball, and said, why are you chasing all these little guys up and down the court? Just park your rear end underneath the basket and block shots. That's something you can be great at. And I listened to his advice.
Well, I mean, it was not like he has never done that before. Good advice.
Yeah, that was good advice from a big guy.
Well, now, of course, he went on to play with the Lakers. Kareem did too. And as a Laker fan, I'm going to tell you, Mark, I had a strong dislike for you when the Western Conference playoffs came around.
So there's no greater compliment. Thank you.
But was going back to your younger years, was basketball your only sport, or did you go with other?
No, I want him to tell you about the one that he really liked. What sport was it you really liked, Mark?
No, I actually, because I grew up in Southern California, right near the beach, and all of us played, water sports growing up because we were always in the water. And when we went to high school, we played water polo as well.
There you go.
Wow.
So,
water polo.
That was just the thing to do by the beach, So I did that for a few years, but ultimately decided I'd give basketball my full attention, although that didn't work out very well in high school, but it paid off later.
So how deep is the water? So say if you were playing officially water polo, how deep is that water? Because you weren't able to stand all the time, right?
Well, see, in the 70s, you basically had a lap pool and then a diving pool, right? So the lap pool was the only thing that was big enough square footage-wise for a water polo match, so they would just flood it up to the deck level. And so in one end, you could stand up still, yes.
Okay.
Well, you could still stand up.
Yeah, you could still stand up.
Yeah.
I would have been.
Yeah, if you were tall enough.
Wow. That's awesome.
I thought you were going to say beach volleyball or something.
Water polo. That's good. So
that wasn't even cool back then.
So I mentioned earlier about the way the game was played then versus now. Do you have any thoughts on the way the game has changed so much since then? I mean, now for 7.
Yeah, it has. It's become much more specialized, and especially at the big man position, the 5-man. Everybody's looking for somebody like a Kevin Durant that can do it all.
Yeah.
And however, when you get to the playoffs, defense is still the key. And I think there's still a place for big guys, but the NBA just doesn't seem to search and find as many of them as they used to because they're looking for that. And also the players have evolved. I think as the European players have had a major impact on the sport because they grew up playing the game a little bit differently than we do in the U.S., and that's affected the culture of the game also.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Now, if you're 7'4", you need to be able to step beyond the arc and bust that 3, or it seems like. But and also you brought up a good point. When you do get in the playoffs, you do see a lot more. I think not slow down game per se, but they do use the post more. And it's funny because they don't do it the 82 regular season games as much, but come playoff time,
Well, I think the analytics have led people to say, the 3-point shot has become a much bigger part of the game. When I was in the league in the 80s and early 90s, if you shot 35% from the 3-point line, that was considered excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Now LeBron shoots like 47% from the 3-point line on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
so it's become a much more important part of the offense. Yeah.
So share with us about about what you do now, your motivational speaking, your 7foot4.com website, and some of those things that you do.
And your book, The 4 Commitments of a Winning Team.
Yeah, so throughout the last 10 years, I've been doing corporate motivational speaking, and I teach some of the things that I learned as an NBA player to companies and organizations about how to be a team and how to get rid of internal competition and these 4 commitments of a winning team that I've found so valuable in my life and through the coaches that I had, and I try and pass those on to the organizations that I speak for. In fact, I was just in your neck of the woods a week or so ago at Citizens Bank out of Gunnersville.
Really?
And, I was hanging out there and hanging out in Alabama. So,
awesome.
So had a very nice time up there.
Were you able to go out on a boat there while you were in Gunnersville, or was it just professional?
No, it was just professional. I didn't get to go on. If I'd stayed a little longer, they were going to take me out bass fishing, but
there you go.
I had to get on down the road. But it was beautiful up there at the state park, and so I speak 5 or 6 times a month around the country, and teach people about how to play better together, and share a little bit of what professional sports can teach an organization about how to get along better and how to achieve your goals better by looking after the people that are around you.
So you do the corporate speaking. Do you do any speaking to athletes, schools, that kind of thing?
Not occasionally, but most of the athletes they already think they've got it all figured out, right? So,
don't do that. That's a great point, man.
The corporations are for looking for improvement.
Correct. Yeah, that's the key right there.
Yeah. But you know what?
For improvement.
It's awesome that is what you're doing, because you're right. Playing, being an athlete, playing a team sport, it does translate into corporate world or any situation like that. Because if you don't work together as a team, you're not going to be successful. And maybe, and you can even translate, like maybe you're all fighting for the same position, but at the same time, you work harder to do it. You don't do it without still putting the team first. So yeah, that's
right. Well, it's a combination of you bringing what you do well to the party, and then understanding how that falls in concert with the other people around you. And if you have an understanding of that, and you stop trying to do everybody else's job along with yours, it gives the team a chance to grow and improve. And that's what I talk about.
That's great. Okay, before we get close to the end here, this is Tom again. Is there any stories you can share with you and Carl Malone and John Stockton, maybe some of the other guys on the Jazz that good funny stories, but something we can share on live radio?
Okay, sure. All right, here you go. So we were on a road trip on the East, and we were playing in Charlotte, and we'd lost like 3 games in a row. And the team wasn't doing very well. John Stockton had the flu, and we roll into Charlotte when they had Larry Johnson and all those guys back then, and so John Stockton tells the mailman just before the game, he said, "Hey, I was listening to radio today, and I heard Larry Johnson say he was the greatest power forward of all time."
Oh, that's awesome.
Grandmama.
So, right. So Carl Malone gets all fired up. He goes out and drops 56 on the harness.
Wow.
And after the game, we go in the locker room, and some reporter had actually heard this story that John had listened to the radio, and so we went over to John Stockton. He said, "Well, what radio station were you listening to?" He said, "Oh, I didn't listen to the radio."
It's amazing the little things it takes to
that'll
get us
fire
fired
you
up.
up. That's right. It worked.
Now that's a true team captain right there.
There you go. Knows how to motivate.
Well, after 3 straight losses, you got to do something.
That's right. It worked. Well, man, thanks so much for joining us. It's been an honor, man, and I loved watching you playing. I remember watching you play in college. I know you were on. And speaking of that, real quick before we let you go, it was just amazing to see how your career transcended from early on, getting drafted like 4th round, I think, and you made it into something incredible, man. So congratulations. And
well, thank you. I appreciate that very much, and I got to give one special shout out to my buddy Keith Gibson from Alabama Power. Because I spent about 3 weeks with him in Southern Alabama, so I know one of your listeners is going to know him, and they'll tell him I said, "Hey."
And that's a great company too.
Well, what about your book? Where do people go to get it?
Yeah. Tell us where to get it.
Yeah, you can get my book on Amazon or BarnesandNoble.com. The 4 Commitments of a Winning Team, and it's a pretty good read and full of more NBA stories as well as some business applications. So if your business needs a little shot in the arm, pick it up.
That's great.
Good deal.
And,
Mark, thank you so much. It's been a hoot, dude.
Man,
come back and join us again.
On.
Well, thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great day today. And
you too,
and
man.
all your football teams win.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Take care, buddy.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks.
All right. See you. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Once again, another awesome interview, man.
Yeah, he was great, man.
Yeah, he was. Very much a great NBA center.
We'll have to have him back on, Mr. Producer.
Absolutely. 4 Commitments of a Winning Team, ladies and gentlemen. Find it from Mark Eaton on Amazon.com. I was wondering how high they had to lift that car up if he's going to work underneath it. He got a duck if he's an auto mechanic.
Yeah, that's that is really cool to go from auto mechanic to junior college coach going, "Look, dude, you need to come play for me," to transferring to UCLA, getting drafted. And, I don't know if that probably wouldn't happen in today's game.
Right.
Junior college part maybe, but beyond that.
That's pretty good. You're listening to Applebee's Tailgate Talk on WKAC, the Big 1080.
For screen printing, sign printing, banners, logo design, and more, look no further than That Shirt Printing Place. Located at 709 North Jefferson Street in Athens. Call 256-444-1827. That Shirt Printing Place. Visit them online at thatshirtprintingplacellc.com. Look for them on Facebook too. That Shirt Printing Place. 256-444-1927. That's Shirt Printing Place.
Come see all your friends at Applebee's in Athens. 12 minutes guaranteed or it's free Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. 7 items to choose from. Can't make it for lunch? Visit them for happy hour, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. or late night. Half-price appetizers with beverage purchase, 6 appetizers to choose from. Call 233-4430 or order online at Applebee's.com and pick your meal up with Carside to Go. Applebee's Neighborhood Grill, Highway 72 in Athens, just off I-65. Eating good in the neighborhood. If your place on the water needs some attention, call BP Riverworks. Boathouses, docks, seawalls, and repairs. Call Barron Pugh at 251-200-2273 or Tracer Pugh at 256-206-7097. BP Riverworks. Licensed and insured 251-200-2273 or 256-206-7097. You've been listening to the best of Tailgate Talk. You can hear the archive of this and other shows online at tailgatetalk.net. Join us next Saturday at 10 a.m. Applebee's Tailgate Talk is a production of Play Action Sports on 1080 WKAC.